Hi everyone, good morning or good afternoon. This is Ida of Created to Create. Welcome back to my channel. I have a project share. I have been creating with some of my new dies. I have been creating with the Memoirs typewriter. I shared with y'all what I created with that. I made a Anna Griffin Christmas themed typewriter to house, I mean, whatever you want to put in it, but I'm creating cards to go in it, like a gift giving station kind of. And I'll share it with you again just to give you refresh, you know, refreshing it in your memory. That way you remember what it looks like, and that way you can see that what I'm creating for it is going to match with all of that. So I have been really enjoying playing with the Anna Griffin paper, although I didn't have the full paper pack for that, because this came when I bought the Create. I think it was the Create 8, and she has like class pouches in there, whether it be the dye, the papers, the ribbons, whatever. So this one was, I think this one was the kirigami or something like that, or maybe the little ornaments. Not sure, but you only get a few papers of everything. You don't normally get like the whole collection of that paper. So it's only a few sheets. And I've been stretching it or trying to stretch it. But here is what the typewriter looks like. Mine is fully assembled. Um, and there is videos on sharing this in more detail. And one of the things that I have been using is this Nativity set that's in the window that my friend had gifted me, and I ended up buying the die. So I'm going to share with you what I created. The die came in really quick, and I think it was even on sale, so I got a good deal on that, and I felt like it was something that I should have. So I'm going to take these out, but I'm going to show you that this houses, I think these are A2 cards, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So if you use an 8 1/2 by 11 paper and you split it down the middle, whether it be the long way or across, you end up with that size cards. So I have a few here. Now the paper I'm using, like, it's hard for it to stay shut because this is like 120-pound cardstock. It's very stiff. But I love working with something like that because sometimes when you glue a paper down or something, it can warp it and you can see it on the underside. So I like this, but maybe this is just a little too heavy. Maybe I should go for 100-pound cardstock. But this is the color that matches the Anna Griffin ivory that she uses. Although it's not her paper, this matches that. So that's what I decided to use. I don't think I have anything in the drawer. No, I don't have nothing in the drawer, but I did create some cards. Let me put this back. But I was just sharing that you could fit that in there. And also there's enough room that if you create envelopes for them, they will fit in there as well. So that was the idea when I was creating the opening for this box. I wanted it to, sorry. I wanted it to be able to house the A2 cards. So let me share the tags that I used to create this. Now I have been playing with my tag tab die, and this one has tabs on both sides. Some have the curved bottom, so if you want to add them to something that it's round or oval or something like that. And this for anything that, the bottom ones are for anything that has a straight edge. So you get that the whole plate has all those different sizes and those two different styles. And if you don't own it, like, I think that's a must-have. When I create a die or design a die, it's something that I really think that I'm going to get a lot of use out of. And that's something that's really needed that I haven't been able to find out there. So that's how I try to create or design my dies. If there's something that's already out there, I normally just buy it. I don't even design one. These are the Memoirs tags that I created to go or to match the typewriter. For those of you, I know some of the ladies that ordered the typewriter ordered the tags and the postcard, so they ordered the whole thing. And this comes in 5 different sizes. The largest one is pretty big. There's my hand. And I used the large one to create my base. And then I used the second size down from the largest down to create a gift card holder as well. So I want to share those with you guys. And these come, you get the silhouette, and then you get the piece that has the intricate cutout, the beautiful open work, and then you get the frame, like to add a sentiment or anything that you want to build on. So you get each tag has the 3 pieces, and like I said, these are 5 different sizes. So I'm going to move it aside, and I'm going to share with you my first card. Look at this beauty. Look at this beautiful card, you guys. Because I'm making mine Jesus is the reason for the season. So I am a Christian, and when I think of Christmas, that's what I really think about. I don't think about the gifts that I'm going to receive or anything like that. I think about what we're celebrating, and this is what we're supposed to be celebrating. This is the true thing we're supposed to be celebrating. So in this particular die, I used the paper that I have. This one, that's 120-pound cardstock. It is actually an A4 paper, so it's a little under 8.5 inches wide, but it's longer than 11 inches. So I didn't trim anything off. I just used it as it was, and I split it down the middle as if it were a regular letter size paper that we use here in the US. And then I took my die, the one that has the silhouette, and actually I have some cut out right here. Let me grab one really quick. So see, I cut it the long way like this because I wanted to do like a tent fold. And all I did was take my die. I did score my paper. I found the middle and scored it down the middle because this is a card. And then I took my die and I lined it up to the bottom, and now the card is a little bit wider than the actual die, but I was okay with that because I wanted to have plenty of building area. So all I did was center it, and let me grab my plates because I want to explain to you how I did this. And I'm just going to grab these anagraph, the Empress ones. Now what I like about this one, I cut into my magnetic shim when I use these. So what I did was I just moved my paper all the way to the end, making sure this was lined up. You can use washi tape to tape down these corners because these corners are going to come off. Sometimes washi tape will stick and it will tear your paper, but if you just glue it to the die and the corner that's going to be cut off, you shouldn't have a problem. And then I take my die and I just line it up to as far as I want it to cut. So, and then I feed this through my machine. So let me turn it this way. I feed it through my machine, whether it's this way or this way. Normally this way. I just pass the paper and the die all the way in. And then when I get resistance from my machine, I'll just push run and it will finish running it through. Now what it does as well, it gives you a score line right there. So you know where to fold. And you can just trim that off. Just cut it right on either side. And you can, because it gives you a line, so you'll know what line to give you, because it gives you a slight score line right there. And you just cut it off, because you want this piece to come off. That's how I created these cards. Very, very simple. So that's what I did. And then I folded it in half where I had already scored it. I'm going to make more, so that's why I have this sitting here, because I'm still working with them. And then I took my I made this card with just pieces because I didn't have a lot of paper, so I wanted this paper and I had it in smaller pieces, so I just cut a rectangle that fit here, and then I used my die and got another scrap and fit it just as far as I needed it to go. It didn't need to be the whole die because I just wanted this decorative edge. And I glued first this piece and then the nice crisp cut one on top, and it looks like it's just one piece, but in reality it was, 2 scraps of paper. But to do the decorative, I did use this. And And then, of course, then I cut the regular one, the whole thing out in gold, in this color. And actually, you can cut it a little short because if you notice, the die extends past my card. So I figured out how far I wanted it to go. Again, I took another scrap of gold and I cut it just that far. And you can either move the die down to get those sharp corners, or you can use a corner rounder to round the other end. This will be rounded, but the other edge wouldn't be. So, and because I needed it to be shorter, I just took my corner rounder and rounded the corners on top. And then I used, I have an anagriff, and I think this is the China cabinet die, and it has a doily and it has corners. So I took the corner out of there and did some die cuts, and I added it to the corner. This right here, it says, "Today in the city of David, a Savior has been born. To you, he is Christ the Lord." So that stamp is this one right here. And this one came from Hobby Lobby. It says, "Today in the city." That's here. I'll move it close up so hopefully you guys can see it. But I picked this up at Hobby Lobby several years ago. And that's where I used the sentiment. And I did emboss it in gold. To emboss something that has words or letters, I use the fine detail embossing powder. So I used it in gold. And then for the Nativity, this is an Anna Griffin die. The one I told you I just picked up. What did I do with it? Let me find it. Here it is. Because I had the die cuts that my friend had gifted me. And those are what I used in my typewriter. So I wanted more because I wanted to match the cards with my typewriter. So this is it. And it does come with 3 different ones. So this is a very nice set. And I believe it was on sale. And I got it really, really quick. So this is the one that I used. And I didn't even use the whole thing. And then you get this one there. And I did use this piece for one of my other cards. This one I haven't used at all yet. But this could definitely, you could cut it apart and use it in sections as well. So even though these last 2 are bigger dies, you can sometimes cut them up. And these are Anna Griffin. I love, 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 love Anna Griffin dies. So those are the ones that I used. And they are called Nativity die set. That's what it's called. So that's what I did there. And then in all the little areas where there was like a dot that I thought I could add a little diamond dot, I had those that were a bright red. They're very, very pretty, very shiny. So I just added them here and there to look like berries. But I love the way it looks. For the Nativity, I cut it out in the Anna Griffin gold matte foil paper. And I also cut it out in black, as if, let's say, for example, you have a light source and it's shining from the left this way across. Well, your shadow would be in the front. So that's where I did the silhouette. I offset the black a little bit so it would have a shadow. If the light were coming in this direction, then the shadow would be to this side. So that's kind of how I did that, just so it wouldn't get lost. I wanted it to make a statement, and I think by adding the black and offsetting it, it really draws attention to it. And then you just open it like this. There is the inside. I put a little the die with the, I used one of the dies with the smaller tag. They all have that frame, so I used the smaller one in here. And added an Anna Griffin sticker. And I always add glue to her stickers to the back to make sure they don't move. So anybody could add their personal message here, but when you close it, you can't see the message. And then to me, this typewriter looks very regal, like royalty. So I added a tassel on the bottom. Now, there are people who hang their cards, or they put them on their tree. And that's where that's where this plate comes in, because you could cut out, and there's different sizes depending on how big your card is. There is a bigger one, so this is a bigger one. Let me fold it in half. And you could glue this to your card and they could actually, the recipient, but I would glue it in between the layer, not necessarily on the card. I would put it on the next layer up. That way you don't see the tab on the back. And also it doesn't interfere with where it folds. So I would put it in the first layer, and then you would just, let me hold it up. So this is what you would see. But you see how it's straight on the bottom? It's straight because it's made for a straight card. But if I was my card were round, I would use the one that curves. That way it would line up. So yes, you could definitely make this into a hanging ornament type of card. So that's where this plate came in, and I'm so glad that I have it. So there is the first one. I did just add a very bright red because I didn't want it to be all off-white. I added a very bright red, and I embossed it with an Anna Griffin folder that was gifted by one of my angels. I don't remember. Was it Tracy? One of the ladies, very popular here on YouTube. I can't remember on the top, right off the top of my head. She joined my Anna Griffin swap, my Griffinite swap, and she gifted us an embossing folder. So that's this embossing folder, because I think anytime you emboss anything, it looks really, really nice. So I didn't want it to be just a flat piece of paper. I wanted it to have detail in it. And in the back, I didn't do anything, but of course I could add my maker's mark right here. But I don't think I'm going to do that. And then I just split one of Anna Griffin stickers. I cut it in half and tucked it underneath as if it were poking out from the bottom. And I love the way this card looks, you guys. I hope that y'all like what I created. So there's one. I was just trying to, when I create a die, or even when I buy a die, I try to use it for different things other than what it was intended for. I try to get other ideas where it can be a multi-purpose use die. So there is one. Let me move it off to the side. And then I only used the Joseph and Mary and the baby Jesus on that one. And then, of course, I had the wise men and the camel and the star. This came out from the center of the star. So it's the exact same card, but using the other pieces. Again, I embossed it in gold. I love it, you guys. And did the same thing on the inside. But this would look beautiful. I mean, this would be pretty hung on somebody's tree where it was already set up that they could hang. But this does stand as well. Even though it's got that shape in the front, it still stands because the back is straight. So it's not going to wobble or anything because you have that straight back to it. So it does stand, as you can see, if that's what you want to do with it. But the tassel and everything, I would probably hang it. So that is card number 2. So for card number 3, I used the ones that I had just folded in half. And I struggled more with this one than with the other ones. I had more ideas with the other one. So I struggled with this one a little bit, but I finally got it to in a way that I like it. This die cut was gifted to me also by my friend Jacqueline. She's Metal Art 001 here on YouTube. And every once in a while, she sends me Happy Mail, and she sends me a lot of die cuts, and I love it. She sent me these years ago, and I hadn't used them until now because I save them until just the right project. So I remembered that she had gifted me these, and I pulled them out. And right here, this frame is an Anna Griffin die as well. And this is the matte gold, and she sent it to me in a shiny. So they're both gold, but different tones. So this was shiny and this is matte, but it still looks beautiful. This is the vellum that was in the kit that I got. And right here are just some of the flowers that were also in the kit that I got. And this is a poinsettia from Hobby Lobby, this little one. These are my favorite poinsettias from there. And then this comes from another Anna Griffin die as well. And then these flourishes right here. This one, I actually made this one with her stamps. I stamped them all on a piece of paper, a copy paper. I scanned them into my computer, and I printed them out in my toner printer. And then I used the foil that works with anything printed on in with the toner. So that's the foil I used there. Ran it through my machine because the heat makes it adhere to the toner. And then I cut them out with the dies, and that's how I created those. This one actually was, I think, gifted to me in the swap, but I made this one. Beautiful, isn't it beautiful? Very, very simple. This one does not have a sentiment in it yet, so I still have to add a sentiment. But I was laughing because look how thick these are, you guys. And I want to put a card set in there. I would probably only be able to put 4 or 5 cards in, in the box and it would be full. But I think they're beautiful cards. So then I thought, um, I have a bunch of stuff out here because I keep them like this, guys, in little bags. So they don't get ruined. And I take care of my die cuts. Believe it or not, I love die cuts because I hate to cut. So I thought I'm going to make a gift card holder that matches. So this is my gift card holder that I created, again, using the second size down to the largest one. So not the largest, but the second one down is what I used to create this gift card holder because I knew it was perfect, or the perfect size. But you could do the big one as well for a gift card. I think any smaller would be too small. So it's either the largest or the second to the largest. Those two would work. And in this one, I decided to, I knew that somebody, my friend Meg, hi Meg, Meg is from Puerto Rico. Um, she had gifted me stamps and they were Christ inspired Christmas stamps. So I hunted in my craft room and I did find them. And I was so happy that I found them. I love those stamps and they were perfect for this project. So these say, come let us adore him. And here are the wise men. The wise men are all connected and I cut it off, you guys. It's connected here in the back and down here. And I cut them off because they were too wide to use for the way I wanted them. Then I put one higher as if he were further away, and then these lower as if they were closer. And then the camel at the bottom. Here's another portion of that little piece, one of the stickers I cut. And this little border is also an Anna Griffin border, and I used this one on my typewriter, and I had a strip left, so I added it there because it's got the stars. And here's that star that I told you about. Most of it is covered up with the bow, but it has the center that comes out, and that's what I used in the other card. Then I added an Anna Griffin. This is an Anna Griffin bow as well. Down here, you see this little bitty tag tab. That is for you to create a hanging element on anything. You can create anything into a tag or a hanging element with this particular die. And I did them in different sizes according to, sometimes we need a little one, sometimes we need a bigger one. So that's the purpose of these. These are also great if you like making handbags, purses, because these could be the handles where you would attach your ribbon handles to. So that will work perfect for that. In this paper, I embossed again in gold. I added the corner right here, but I misted my paper with water, and I kind of, rolled over the corner. I kind of gave it movement, almost like a scroll. That was my idea for this. Same thing, but this, has a little movement in the sentiment piece. And I love the way this one looks. I had some thinner cording that similar to the one I used on the typewriter, so I used that as my hanging element. So whoever receives this, they could hang it on their tree. And there is the tab that makes it be a hanging type of card or ornament. These would make pretty ornaments as well. So here's the back. In this one I used another one of my dies, which is the all occasions tags, which is this one. And here's one that says for you, and then it has, I think, 3 layers. One says Merry Christmas, one says congrats, and one says for you. And these are for your gift bags and stuff like that, where you're using wider ribbon or thicker cording. It will fit through the loops there. But if you have this, you don't have to use that. You can use the smaller layers and then attach a tab to it and create it into a tag. So that's what I did to mine. I only used the word, the first layer, and then the second layer. I cut it out of Anna Griffin paper, so it's Anna Griffin paper on one side. It's a one-sided paper, but it's an ivory on the other, and I like the way it looks. And to create it into a gift card holder, I use this tear strip. This is a lawn fawn die, and it's just this little piece right here, you guys. And this is actually cut, like you can pull it and tear it um, for whoever is going to receive the gift card. So what I did was I folded a piece of paper that was wider than my tag and tall enough, you know, as tall as my tag, a little bit taller. And I scored it on the side. And when I lined up my tag, I made sure that the cutting edge was not right on the crease, that it was after the crease, the fold. That way it wouldn't cut it, but it would cut everything else around. So that's how I created this portion. All I did was add some score tape. So this, I'm going to show you, I have one here. All you have to do is add a temporary glue dot, put that there, pull off the tape and close it up. And there's your gift card. And when the recipient gets it, all they have to do is tear the strip to get the card out. But after they do that, they can actually hang this on the tree, and it would make also a beautiful ornament. Anyway, guys, that is all that I have to share with you today. I will link all the dies in the description box below. Anna Griffin stuff, you would have to go to her website, or you can go to HSN and they have it. So you can, I'm not sure if it's available or not, but that's where I would look for it. And you can even look on eBay for some of the older stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that you like what I created. I hope that it inspires you. Let me lay these out so you guys can see them. I have a bunch of die cuts, guys, because I was working and creating, and I haven't, sometimes I'll cut it and not use them, and then when I'm done, I'll go ahead and put away all my die cuts because I want to make sure they don't get damaged. But there is the gift card holder, and here are the other 2 cards. But look at how gorgeous they are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a great day. Oh, I forgot to mention one other thing also. Your tags, some of the ladies did order the tags. If you use the inside piece that cuts the little piece there, you can actually make your tag into a shaker tag. So that's another idea. I might try making a tag with also the Nativity, because those are small enough that they would fit in there. Maybe not this is the smallest tag. Maybe I'll use the next size up. But you could definitely make it into a shaker tag. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day, and God bless. Bye.